8 o'clock then, Stuart Barnes, always a brilliant guest, is with us. 8 o'clock, Wednesday Night Rugby. He'll give us his thoughts on Ireland and how we're shaping up, and England and the World Cup in general, really. And then we're talking bowling. I suppose fast bowling in particular. We'll have Angus Fraser with us, former England fast medium bowler, and we'll have Nick Royal, cricket journalist, to discuss this on the eve of the Ashes continuing tomorrow. And Dermot Corrigan will talk to us all things La Liga as things get underway over in Spain. 53106, the text number. We're at Off the Ball on Twitter. Shane Hannon with us again. Hello, sir.
Evening, Joe.
And the Irish Independent's Dan McDonald. Hello.
Joe, how are you?
Very well, Dan. Are you mic'd up there? I'm not getting you in my ear.
I think I'm mic'd up. I should be.
Are we okay outside? Yeah? Thumbs up outside? Turn it on, please, Dan.
Turn it on?
Is what they're saying.
Let's turn it on.
Are you sure it's
Look at some kind of mute system there. That wasn't
back
pleasant.
now? There you go. Dan McDonald, Irish Independent. Hello.
Hi, Joe. So I'm still reeling from your walk through the office with some kind of fish like 10 minutes ago, which is actually cleared out the entire office outside.
Sorry.
I actually came into the office. There was around 10 to 15 people there. All of a sudden, this presence emerged from the kitchen with a plate, and people were diving for cover. I'm pretty sure 2 to 3 people have left.
List of things you don't do in an open plan office.
There's been talk that HR have been called.
I'm pretty sure that's a violation of some description there.
No, look, Office Rules 101, I've transgressed. I just tweeted, I held my hands up. I tweeted shameful, thoughtless behaviour. I have been that guy, is what I've said there, Dan. Microwaved fish in the Off the Ball open plan office. This is unacceptable. I acknowledge this and I say sorry. Over and out. Okay, I apologise. I just didn't think it through.
Did you microwave on this floor? Or did you go to a different floor to do it?
Oh no, the one right by the lads.
Yeah.
Right beside us, yeah. Perfect.
It's safe to say it's left its legacy anyway. How long can we make this news round to avoid going back out there?
I have never...
Shane's never been exposed to this possibly before. He's been climbing mountains and stuff lately, and he's never actually... I think that was actually more challenging.
No, I'm so sorry. I have never, ever microwave fish in the office before. I don't know why it's taken 10 years of being here that I did it, but I just did.
I'd be a fan of microwaving fish anyway, to be honest. Is that something you would...
I didn't want to eat it cold. It was last night's dinner that I didn't have.
Right.
I wouldn't even do that.
It was nice salmon. There was
I'm sort of
veg,
imagining your house now just like this sort of stench of microwave fish.
See, it doesn't make the stench when I don't microwave it ordinarily. It was in the oven. It was tin foil. It was fine. You know, it was a well ventilated apartment.
Yeah.
Unlike the open plan office out there.
No. That's fine. Listen,
I've apologised.
You've made your statement.
Put my hand up. I literally have made a statement on Twitter to appease everyone because Kieran...
It's the type of thing that only the presenter would do. You know, it's definitely something that, like someone on his first week, there's no way he'd rock out the microwave fish, whereas you've got your feet under the table now and you're like, come on.
The worst thing was...
Wednesday, been doing the last couple of days, let's get the fish out.
I committed this crime, it wasn't good, and then I thought everyone was over it. And then Kieran walked back in and he sat down and he said, "Has someone microwave fish in here?" And that was when I realised, okay. Because I thought the smell had gone away at that stage.
It really hadn't.
Turns out we were in the eye of the storm.
It hadn't.
Anyway, Dan, let's get on with things. You're on for the football show. We'll talk La Liga with Dermot Corrigan. Can I ask you, Dan, what are you making of the day's big controversy? No, not my microwave fish. Rashford versus Pogba. Penalty gate, Dan. This is the big one. This is what people want your views on.
I'm not as angry as Gary Neville was on Monday night. He was very irate.
That was almost before he realised what was happening. He, at that stage, thought Pogba may have just pulled rank of his own accord. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out and said, no, there's 2 penalty takers.
Look, is it fair to say it wasn't a particularly bad penalty?
Yes.
Perfect height for a keeper, though.
Yeah, well, every penalty that's saved is probably described in those terms. It wasn't the worst penalty of all time.
Isn't that the point?
Probably not. No, but like I think it's. They had a fair bit of time after that to try to retrieve the situation in the game as well. I think it's almost like it's convenient to some degree. Like they were in control of the game at half time.
No, that's fine. You're skirting around the issue for me here now.
Whose side am I on? Is that what you're saying?
Well, do you think it's a fair enough policy? Good policy, even?
No, I don't think it's great. I know there's been a couple of pieces written, and I know Aidan O'Hara in our paper and stuff, and it does. You would imagine under a stronger manager that something like that wouldn't happen. You know that it shouldn't come to that. Joe, you're smiling here because you're completely distracted by fish.
The fish
right?
text 53106.
I can waffle on with this answer, but you're gone. You're completely gone at the game here. So will me and Shane talk amongst ourselves, or
talk about that again.
I can continue this point at a very
just get to your point.
Very The point is,
to me, in a line.
Stronger leadership from the sideline. You would think that it's not an ideal practice, not an ideal system. It's slightly dysfunctional.
That's good. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
And what do you think is Solskjaer's motivation here?
His motivation?
His rationale? Do you think he's afraid to put noses out of joint? Is that what you're coming to?
Well,
he can't think this is the best policy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's slightly surprising. And maybe other coaches and managers can enlighten us and tell us that they apply this policy at all. They've applied this policy at their club and so on. But I would have thought there's pretty defined lines, just two players on the pitch. Joe, why am I even talking about this? Just tell us what you're laughing at. Just go for it.
Just just don't worry about it.
You're completely and utterly broken.
Let's just say the reaction
is strong.
Has been strong.
Strong as the smell was.
I'll tell you what's strong. It's pretty strong if you walk out there.
Overwhelmingly strong. The reaction to the microwave fish and the microwave fish. Very poor form. But I have worked in places where people have toasted full sandwiches in a toaster. So you end up with cheese stuck in the toaster, ruining everyone else's toaster, says Neil.
That's not half as bad as the fish.
No, it's not. But
it's per practice, though.
Arguably, it's worse than the fish because it ruins the toaster ever more. Okay, look, we're in for a rough hour out there. I accept that.
Someone is going to go in there now and put some other
someone's
curry
chicken is
or something.
Fish.
Some nice healthy chicken dish is going to come out with a.
Yeah. Someone stick a Febreze thing in the microwave. Joe, do you hang your wet socks on the office radiator as well? I'm horrified, says Anne and Meath, and I feel deep shame. I just didn't think. Jesus, Joe. Someone else says, that's your PPI nomination, Rune. No chance now. Thoughtless behaviour, think of the children. Queeving says, disgrace, full stop. Sue Murphy, an off-the-ball colleague, at least you had the good grace to wait until I was gone. Andy McGeady simply says, Joe. And then Kieran Bradley says, mob justice prevails, as in that I've been forced to tweet about it. And Will O'Callaghan, also out there enduring the smell, calls me history's greatest monster.
He was one of the first gone, to be fair. I thought he was out there completely.
Packed up. Yeah, look, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. Someone asked me if I trim my toenails in the staff bathroom as well. I don't. Look, this has never happened before. It will never happen again.
Yeah.
Let's get moving, will we? We've dealt with Fishgate and the Rashford
situation.
We're up and running, Dan. We're up and running. So Dan Levy's going to join us 7:30. Stuart Barnes on the way, 8 o'clock. He does have some worries over Ireland, Stuart Barnes, and how we're heading into this World Cup. And even Gordon Darcy today wrote a very strong piece. I'll get the exact quotes in a while. I have it outside. I put it to Stuart Barnes, but he was really saying he kind of has us, below that top kind of 4, 5, 6 countries who were in with a big chance. He now thinks we're beneath that, just ahead of France.
Where does that come from? Sorry, pardon my slight ignorance,
yeah.
But where is this complete loss of confidence came from being the best team in the world not long ago?
2019 has been such a mess.
Completely a mess.
Yeah. By the standards they set, by the standards of winning a World Cup. We don't want to go crazy here, but by the amazing standards that the same group of players set. There's and we'll tease it out with Barnes, there is if you take they've peaked a year too early, there's two sides to that. There is one, are the players all a year older? Rory Best, Sexton, all these guys, injuries meant up, it's tough. Are they all just a year older than we would like, some of the key players? And then the other side of did they peak last year is, have other teams now really worked out the Irish strengths, box kick and so on? And those two worries, we've seen nothing of late to dissuade us that they may still be very, very valid. So that's kind of the deal. Stuart Barnes with us after 8 o'clock. He really he does a brilliant analysis. We've already spoken to him, so we'll play it out. And that's on the way.
It's creeping up now, isn't it? Because I know the rugby lads are out at their training camp in Kent de Lego this week.
22nd of September, Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah, they're training in the same facility, the campus that Ireland football team was in 3 months or so back. So
yeah.
They're following that path, yeah.
Yeah, so they're at Twickenham on Saturday. We'll have Stuart Barnes after 8 and then Angus Fraser and Nick Royal with us, and they'll talk cricket, bowling. Obviously Steve Smith was, lucky it wasn't worse, but he was in a bad way. There was a very fast ball which caught him, and we're going to talk about the art of fast bowling in particular with Angus Fraser and Nick Royal. That's on the way, maybe around 8:45 or so. Dermot Corrigan, Dan will join us on the football show. So that's us for this evening. Shane, let's start the news round.
Indeed, Galway are on the hunt for a new hurling manager. That's after Micheál Donoghue announced he was stepping down last night after 4 years in charge. The Clarenbridge clubman steered the county to the All-Ireland, of course, in 2017 after a 29-year gap. The Galway County Board have said they hope to have a successor in place by October the 1st. Former Kerry star Kieran Donoghue told OTB AM this morning that the players held him in high esteem.
They would have done anything for him. So, but look, it'll be a chance for someone else to come in now and a chance for all them players to lay down their own markers as well. But, he was a great servant. What he did for Galway, landing that title, there was memorable scenes and probably very unlucky against Limerick last year in the final as well. So, and this year was a bit of an out of nowhere, kind of a shock to the system. I felt that Galway were just starting to tick. I think the win down in Nolan Park was a great win, and we got the sucker blow in Parnell Park, and then we were going to the dressing room, going, we used to dust ourselves down for a quarter final, and then you hear the result is a draw, and next thing you're sitting around the dressing room, and it was the worst kind of shock I've ever kind of received in a dressing room, because it was on the way. You were hearing that Kilkenny were up a pint, Wexford were up a pint, and you were kind of hearing that this was all going on.
Also speaking on OTB AM this morning, former Offaly hurler Daithí Regan believes Donoghue will have no problem finding a new managerial job whenever he wants.
I think his stock is certainly of a high enough standard and regard that if and when a managerial position comes up again in Galway again, or for that matter, other counties, but why not? His legacy is there. He's won an All-Ireland title. Not many in Galway have done it. He deserves all the respect and the plaudits that will come.
Yeah, you'd agree with all that. So you can get those full interviews at offtheball.com. Now, good news from an Irish point of view.
Indeed, Republic of Ireland under-19 international star Jonathan Afolabi has been unveiled as Celtic's latest signing. He joins on a free transfer, having left Southampton towards the end of last season. Afolabi has signed a 3-year contract at Parkhead. The teenager will be linking up with his Ireland teammates Barry Coffey and Luke O'Connell at Parkhead. Afolabi has told Celtic TV why he chose to join Neil Lennon's side.
They were like the team that I felt I'd be able to work well with most, and they seem to bring through youngsters regularly and academy players. So I think it's a great place for me to be at, and it's nothing to be taken lightly, because it's a great club, great history, and I'd just like to be a part of that more and help them with the season ahead.
What's the lowdown on this guy, Dan?
Yeah, it's a good story, because he was released by Southampton at the end of the season, and obviously there was ahead of the Ireland Under-19 Championships, or the European Under-19 Championships that Ireland participated in July. There was a spate of players unavailable, the likes of Troy Parrott and a host of other players, and Afolabi sort of emerged as a star. He was the only Irish player on the team at a tournament, and he'd been training with a couple of League of Ireland clubs prior to that. It was a bit unclear where he was going to go, and in fact I know one or two clubs maybe here probably fancied their chances of getting him, and then they saw how he played at the tournament and was like, well, that's the end of that. And sure enough, he had a few offers and he's ended up pitching for Celtic. Now, as Shane mentioned, it's a 3-year deal. So Neil Lennon spoke at the weekend and suggested that he's got a chance. He's on the cusp of first team involvement without being close to it in the next couple of weeks. So it goes to show how those tournaments, those underage tournaments, a lot of people, I think, get offers from England and abroad as well. So it's opened some doors. Big, powerful strikers. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Okay, good. Good day for Aidan O'Brien, Shane.
Yeah, Aidan O'Brien's Japan won the Group 1 Juddmonte International in a thriller at York this afternoon. Ryan Moore was on board the 5-1 shot as they saw off Crystal Ocean by a nose. It's a 6th success in that very race for O'Brien, and a 2nd Grade 1 victory for the 3-year-old horse. Next story is Brexit. We normally leave this for the newshounds, but former Crystal Palace and Blackpool manager Ian Holloway has today moved to clarify controversial comments on Sky Sports' The Debate last night. Holloway appeared to suggest the European Union is to blame for the controversial new handball rule in the Premier League. Here's a clip.
Their job is to not re-referee the game, is to be clear and obvious. So I don't think that's our boys making up that new change to law. I think that's people telling us what we should do with our game. Yeah. Now, they should stop doing that. I hope we get out of Brexit, because that's what we've all voted for, and sort that out, because you cannot have someone telling us how to do our own game, right?
He has rolled back on that a little bit. He told the Mirror today, Brexit has nothing to do with the football rules, is it? I'm not that stupid. He added that he was simply drawing a parallel between the EU and UEFA and their influence over Britain in the respective political and footballing spheres.
I thought that at the time, to be fair to him. And there's a lot of ridicule on Twitter last night, but I thought it was obvious enough. Now, he's throwing nonsense, but I thought it was obvious enough that he was drawing a parallel with Brexit, as if he was saying, well, in the same way we need to, there's all these people out far are telling us how to run our country, which is why we need to get out of Brexit. But they're also, and I did feel he meant UEFA, FIFA. They're telling us how to run our game, like this English game.
But the slight problem is, of course, who was the spokesperson for the rule change that ultimately the handball rule change?
Go on.
It was David Ellery.
Yeah.
And the people who make the rules in football, there's the IFAB, it's the International Football Association Board.
Yeah.
And because of England's status as defender of the game, the IFAB committee actually consists of representatives of the four England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, and then FIFA. So actually there's a disproportionate representative from Britain on that. They've actually managed to, whatever has happened in FIFA and UEFA, the one thing they've managed to control is their dominant seat in the lawmaking authority of the game. So he's talking utter garbage, to be honest. So his explanation is worse, because he doesn't even know that you're actually making most of the rules as it is. And it was David Ellery was the spokesperson for the handball rule.
Yeah.
And when I think of David Ellery, I think of England. You know what I mean?
Well, indeed, Dan.
He's not a symbol of European imperialism. It's David Ellery.
Yeah.
So
well, that's all fair enough. It is different to him thinking that once they had Brexit, that this would change the rules of the game in England, though. He didn't quite say that, in fairness.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh yeah, Brexit.
Take back control.
Brexit will mean that you get to change the rules of the English game. I don't think the
Premier League is quite retained, has England really retained control of the Premier League?
The Premier League's one of the most diverse.
It's like a representation of globalism.
Yeah, so look, still, so we're agreeing here, still incredibly stupid on Ian Holloway's behalf, but not in the way that maybe he was being ridiculed for.
I know what you mean.
I didn't think Brexit would change the rules.
No, I don't think he actually thought that the EU were responsible. But it was. He also was representative of a certain type of and I've no interest in getting political. We're not even going that route. But he is representative of a certain type of paranoia that exists of people are coming to get us and change our rules, when actually you control these rules mostly yourselves, lads. In fact, there's a different interpretation of the Premier League are taking a different interpretation of some of these applications of some of the rules to UEFA. So they've
taken back control.
They've taken a certain amount of control.
No to Turkey.
So he's basically done no research, essentially.
Well, that's yeah. So Kerry then. This is a story out of Kerry and their All-Ireland final tickets.
Indeed, Kerry supporters are being asked to fork out €100 to purchase tickets for their upcoming All-Ireland senior football final against the Dubs. Off the Ball has learned that clubs in the Kingdom are seeking an extra €10 onto the normal €90 fee for stand tickets for the game, with the 5 in a row chasing Dubs. Sunday, September 1st is that game. The extra tenner forms a donation to the players' holiday fund through a ticket for the Kerry GA Monster Raffle, which will take place later this year. Kerry GA PRO Leona Twiss insists that supporters have no obligation to pay more than the face value for the decider, and says their holiday fundraiser efforts began back in the spring. She added that they're hoping for goodwill from fans and that the donation towards the raffle is discretionary. Thoughts on this, Dan?
I mean, it obviously they have no obligation, but if someone passes you a collection basket in a church, do you pass it on and put nothing into it?
Me personally?
Well, I'm asking you. I mean, we're not talking about your personal judgment today, Joe. But you know what I mean? It's sort of like...
There's a peer pressure there.
Yeah, it's like... or, a taxi driver, the fare is 17 or 18, you hand the 20 and they hang on. It's are you going to give the change? I know, you're grand. It's there's a similar sort of principle applying here.
Yeah.
Who's going to actually ask for that tenner back?
Yeah. It's yes, I think that's... fair enough, that's what's going on here. And it's not, aren't Kerry able to raise plenty money anyway for their holidays, and they've opened their new centre of excellence, and they have fundraising branches in the US, and they go and do very well. As counties go, do they need to be saying to their fans at the point that they're paying out 90 quid plus travel plus all the other expenses that go?
Programme is expensive as well, apparently.
Programme is now up to €7, Dan. Yeah. Better be good for €7. And now there's also an element of, actually, do you know what? Seeing as you're spending all this money anyway, what's a tenner?
Yeah. Tipping the scales to 3 figures is probably a big difference.
Yeah, it's true. So we'll see what the reaction to that is. Now, a few other bits and pieces before we go.
Yep, the Irish team to face England in their Rugby World Cup warm-up game will be officially announced tomorrow morning. Leinster's Ross Byrne is expected to get the chance to impress it out half, with Ireland likely to take 3 number 10s to Japan. Johnny Sexton sat out yesterday's training session in Portugal with soreness, along with Robbie Henshaw, Keith Earls and James Ryan. If Henshaw is fit, he'll partner his former Connacht teammate Bundy Aki in the Irish midfield. Captain Rory Best is likely to start in a front row alongside Cian Healy and Tadhg Furlong, while Conor Murray could partner Byrne in the half-backs. Meanwhile, World Rugby have today announced that they are rebranding future Women's Rugby World Cup tournaments as they move towards gender-neutral tournament names. The Women's Rugby World Cup 2021 in New Zealand will now be called Rugby World Cup 2021 and will be the first tournament that comes under that new designation. The same format will also apply to the Rugby World Cup Sevens tournaments, where the men's and women's events are held in the same host city at the very same time.
Oh, that could be a bit confusing. But people, look, I don't have people seem to be going nuts about this. I don't really care. Like when the Women's World Cup, if you want to call it that, the Women's World Cup was on in France. It's not like when it was on, we weren't saying, let's just talk about the World Cup. Once everyone knows what you're talking about, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay, the Sevens thing, if they're on in the same city, you might need to differentiate them in some way. Now, if people at this stage in life find gender, but like I think then you might be, if you're saying in the same host city, well, let's talk about the men's one and let's talk about the women's one. That's fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's no...
A lot of people are making the argument today on Twitter they should just call the men's one the Men's Rugby World Cup.
And people will use whatever colloquial term they want, you know, in terms of...
So if it's going to be World Cup 2021, is that what you said it was?
Yeah.
People will know what that is. The year points to what it is. In the same way that Japan 2019, you know it's the men's one.
Like, which tournament was established first? You know, like...
Oh, it's in the men's, obviously.
You know what I mean? So that it's not offensive that that's the language that it's referenced in. You know what I mean? Like,
oh no,
you know what I mean?
No, it's fine. There's no offence meant whatsoever. I guess there's a move now away from that. People are going to roll their eyes and say it's the world gone mad. It's fine. I don't think any great issue either way. I did find that when the World Cup was on this summer, people just call it the World Cup.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know. Like a lot of people chat to, are you watching the Women's World Cup? But it was a very positive discussion. I don't think it's hard. It's not. I wasn't thinking, oh God, I wish they would just call it the World Cup, you know? I mean... it wasn't a burning issue for you either.
No,
of course it wasn't. I mean, it was a very positive tournament. You're searching for negatives if you're offended by that.
There's an element that World Rugby wanted to be the forebearers and just be the first people to do it, because FIFA, it is officially called the FIFA Women's World Cup still, so they are the first world leading sports organisation that have gone with this, so I guess there was that element of being the first leaders in gender neutral names, I guess, so...
Yeah. I mean, look, we're 3 lads sitting around, so we're probably not as clued into this or aware of this.
There's probably more beneficial things you can do, surely, for like, you know...
You think there's a touch of PR about the whole thing?
I don't know. I mean, like... yeah.
If you do, you do. It's fine.
No, I just think like that. I'm not au fait enough with the growth of women's rugby generally. I know, and like obviously in this country here, there's been a focus more so on isn't the team effectively part time now? The coach's position is part time. It's been sort of relegated to a part time status. I would have thought issues like that would be more of a concern than the name.
That's a fair point. Yeah, it's true. There will be confusion when you do have a men's and women's tournament in the same city, sevens, and you can't differentiate.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
But anyway, look. By the way, our Roy King Gary Neville roadshow is completely sold out, but we are giving away the last few tickets courtesy of prizes. So this is at the Bord Gáis Energy Theatre, September the 4th, in association with Cadbury, and we're giving away the last couple of pairs of tickets by raffle. So to be in the raffle this evening, tell us who our mystery voice is. He heard about Off the Ball stalwart outside End of Call getting a tattoo recently. He's not impressed.
I'm not a tattoo kind of guy.
Text your name. We all know that is?
Oh yeah.
Text your name.
Oh yes.
Your name and answer 53106 for 30 cents. We'll announce the winner later on the show. That's our Roy Keane Gary Neville Premier League Roadshow with thanks to Cadbury, happening September 4th at the Bord Gáis Energy Theatre. So 53106 if you know what that mystery voice is. Stuart Barnes is with us after 8 o'clock. We'll have cricket between 8 and 9 as well. Myself and Dan on the football show, plus Dermot Corrigan talking La Liga. And up next, he suffered really dreadful injury at the end of last season. He's missing out in the World Cup. Dan Levy going to be in studio.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
Ireland's best mobile network just got better. It's like going to the match with your best mate and then finding out you're sitting beside your favourite ex-player and they're like, you know your stuff. and you're like, this is even better.
With Vodafone, get 30 gigs of data and even better, a free Samsung Galaxy S10 when you switch to Red Complete. Vodafone, the future is exciting. Ready? Offer available to new Vodafone customers signing up to Red Complete 24-month contract for €60 a month while stocks last. Offer ends 30th of September 2019. See Vodafone.ie for